I wanted to channel my inner big cat energy. This is how we're gonna make those beautiful, beautiful spots. Every time I look in the mirror, I'm just like, rrr. Hi, everybody. Today, I wanted to channel my inner big cat energy. I wanted to feel powerful. I wanted to feel strong and I don't know, just a whole powerful force, like a cheetah or a jaguar or leopard, just really just owning my confidence and knowing I am powerful. So yeah, that's what inspired this makeup, and I'll show you. Kind of nice, right? And I'm gonna walk you through each and every single step that I took to get here. So let's go. Since the focus is on our eyes, I'm gonna just prime the lids first. For this, you could use a primer, a foundation, or a concealer. I'm gonna use a skin tint because I don't want it to be too heavy. Now from here, I'm just gonna take my most used black eyeliner and I'm gonna kind of create these spots. Now, honestly, it's not a full circle. It's more like a donut with the middle cut off, if that makes any sense. So just a top line and a bottom line and gaps in between. This is how we're gonna make those beautiful, beautiful spots that we see on leopards, those beautiful, beautiful spots. Now for this, I will say, if there's parts where you can't fill it in with the big spot, you can always put a dot, and I find that the dot helps add variation. I have about 3 to 2 dots across my eyelid, one definitely towards the inner corner and 2 towards the end or even in the middle, just to fill up the space. That way there's no weird blank spots. Now I will say, when it came to doing this on my left eyelid, I had a bit of trouble. I'm not left-handed, so it was a bit hard to draw it there properly and kind of make it look somewhat similar. And by the way, it's okay if it doesn't look similar because leopard spots aren't symmetrical, so it can work out. But if you mess up, my trick to easily just wiping it off is making sure, one, your face is moisturized, and I'm using a gel liner, so if I messed up, I could easily just wipe it away with my finger. And if I needed to just use my skin tint as primer, then I did. But it's nice, simple, easy. Once you get the shape you want, you're good to go. And then I'm taking a liquid gold highlighter and I'm using a brush so that way it's a little bit more precise, and I'm just putting it in the middle of those large spots. And remember, these lines for the spots are not fully connected, so it's not a circle with coloring in it. There's like little gaps on the edge that you could have the gold kind of seep out of a little bit. But once you put these gold in, or even if you just want to keep it with eyeshadow, once you do that, it really starts to look like leopard spots. Now, because my eyeliner, the first one, got so little, I'm using a brand new black eyeliner, and I'm just lining my waterline on the top of my eye and the bottom of my eye. Just be a bit careful because I tend to poke my eye sometimes when I'm doing it, particularly on the top waterline. So take your time, there's no rush, and honestly, if this smudges at any point in time, or if you're a bit hesitant about this and want to save it for later, you absolutely can, because I do come back to just touching this up. I will also say, if you have a hard time with the top waterline, what I have found that works for me is literally just doing the corners of the top waterline and not the center part. especially if you do the outer corner, it makes your lashes look fuller. And if you do get some over on the top, remember we're working with gel liner and a moisturized face, so you can always wipe off the excess with your finger, especially since we do not have any eyeshadow on the lid. So take your time, be patient. Last thing I want is for you to poke yourself in the eye. Now that that's done, we are just going to take an eyeshadow, in my case a bronzer because I want it to be warm, and I'm just going to use it for the lid application. Literally the easiest part, just get that color on there. Now I do want to say this, warm tones tend to look really good on me personally. If you are a cool tone baddie, work with cool tones. Just so for instance, I'm working with gold and browns. If you're cool tone, go more champagne and a nice cool tone brown. And then I'm gonna just take a smudge of shiny highlighter and I'm putting it only on the apple, so we get a nice halo effect and everything looks nice. Now I'm actually going to do my base in two parts. The first part is just setting out the main full face, which is foundation first and a little bit of concealer before we go back into the eyes, because I want to do a little bit with our under eye with eyeshadow. So I'm using a skin tint because I do want a full face makeup, but I don't want a heavy makeup because I do expect to be wearing this out. I do expect to be having a good time with this, and I don't want it to be too caked up because I think that will distract from the amazing eye makeup we are doing right now. Now this step is optional, which is color correct. Honestly, if you have been having trouble sleeping or if you have just dark eye bags in general, a nice color corrector is going to help. I'm a bit on the light side, so peach color corrector works well for me. If you're more of a medium to dark tone, I would recommend a red color corrector. That's gonna work best for you. And then I'll just go over that with my concealer to brighten up certain spots a bit. I like to do it on my smile lines. I don't know why I did it on the bridge of my nose, so I just wiped it off. But we have fun with this and just blend it away before we get back to the eyes. And when you are going in your under eye area, just make sure you are not using excess. Start off light and build from there, because when you have excess, it's gonna look cakey over time, especially throughout the day, and we do not want that. Like I said before, if you guys are not great with your waterline or tight lining, this is the time to fix it. The reason we're doing this is because I really just want the focus to go to the eyes, so I like putting a nice little outline for that. Then I'm going to do our thing and put a wing, and I'm using this nice thin liquid marker eyeliner. For me personally, using a marker or pencil type shape when it comes to eyeliner is always the easiest for me. I do know for some it's better with a brush. Use what makes you happy. I'm actually not doing the full eye, and I'm kind of trying to make sure my wing is a bit more flatter than I would usually do to kind of make my doe eyes seem a little bit smaller and siren-y. And then I'm just gonna kind of do a little point in the inner corner to kind of help with making my eyes look a bit narrower and sharper, because I want this to have the same feel as the leopard spots, which is powerful, magnetic, and intimidatingly strong, and hopefully I get there. Now I'm gonna take that same brown that I used for my lids, and I'm just gonna put it underneath. One, it prevents your waterline liner from smudging, and 2, it kind of brings everything together. And this one's optional, but I personally have just been enjoying doing this. I'm just taking white eyeliner, eyeshadow, sorry, you can also use eyeliner, and I just put it on the inner corners around that point that I made with the eyeliner and underneath the wing. I just feel like it adds a lot of dimension, which I love, and I smudge it out so it's not too dark. Now we're gonna get back to finishing our face now that the eyes are complete. So I'm just taking my contour and bronzer set and I'm just working on my cheek areas, on my forehead. If you want, you could do under the chin as well. And then taking my highlighter to highlight kind of under my eyes. I still want it to be a little bit brighter, as well as the bridge of my nose and forehead, so our face has dimension. I'm also gonna just fix my eyebrows with a little bit of gel. I don't want it to be too sharp because I want the focus to once again just be on my eyes, because it took a lot of effort. It took a lot of effort to get those spots. And then when it comes to blush, since the eyes are the focus, I'm making sure to put the blush on my upper cheeks, and I like to just put some on my nose. I think it fits me, but I want my face to kind of be up and snatched instead of putting it straight across my face, which is gonna make me look softer and cuter. That's not what we're going for. And just to set my face and make it matte, I am using a bit of setting powder. I'm starting with under my eyes. I'm making sure everything is very light. And then I am going everywhere else, especially in the T-zone area along my forehead. I do not want to sweat. I do not want to look dewy. This is a strong magnetic eye makeup, and that is the point. And if you want, you could always add a little bit more blush afterwards with a nice powder blush. My recommendation is, if you are using creams and then a powder, do not put cream on top of it. It will just cause it to look messy after. Now we are almost at the end. I'm just going to take a 2 liner and gloss combination to make my lips pop and work with this. I'm kind of trying to stay in like a warmish area when it comes to lips, so that way it's matching with the eyes but not overpowering. My rule of thumb with this always is, if you're doing makeup, you have to pick a focus point. Either you pick your eyes or you pick your lips, but you cannot pick both, because it will either make it look messy or people won't know what to look at. I did forget one last step with my eyes, which is mascara, but it's okay because we made it and we got it in. You can also optionally switch out mascara for lashes. I do think a nice pair of full wispy lashes will work very well here. But for me, since I'm no lash expert, I'm just going to mascara it. And I'm making sure to get the under, like bottom lashes as well. And also, just FYI, because we put that eyeshadow underneath and because it is that brown, it will also help with preventing any excess smudging when it comes to this makeup. And then after we do mascara on our lashes, we're just gonna hit it with setting spray to call it a day. And guys, look, this is the final look. As you can see, the little gold highlight just makes it pop. And then the brown, I'm noticing that brown, for some strange reason, makes brown eyes pop. And I love my brown eyes. I think they're beautiful. They come in so many different shades, and sometimes you can't tell the difference between 2 to 3 of those shades, but beautiful nonetheless. And I love that, you know, this look kind of takes my big eyes and makes them a bit more siren-y. I do feel like sometimes I have just huge doe eyes and it's hard to do certain makeup styles, but because I kind of made my wing a bit lower, a bit straighter, mainly focused only on the ends and then add a little bit on the inside, it kind of gave me a smaller shape, a more siren-y shape, just a little bit. I'm still working on that, but overall, I really do feel confident in this makeup. I feel powerful. Every time I look in the mirror, I'm just like, "Rrr." But I love it. I really, really love it. The little subtle, like, hints of shine definitely causes the attention to go straight to my eyes. I think the lighter berry color just works for me and also enhances that golden undertone and warmth to it. So I definitely feel like a big, beautiful, powerful cat roaming the savannah, and absolutely I am going to succeed in doing whatever I want to do. So if you have followed me with this tutorial, please let me know how it looks for you. I'd love to see pictures if anything, and I'd love to hear your suggestions, tips, or even ideas you want me to try. I am open to it. But thank you so much for taking time out to watch this video, and bye!